what's your like quick tip to incorporate more color into your food?
Oh, go to a farmer's market because that's where you're going to find all the good stuff. You know, the truth is that if you go to a farmer's market, there's going to be everything color-wise that you could possibly want to eat. It's all just right there in front of you. And if you start saying, I'm going to buy a little of everything, well, then you're going to cover all the bases. You don't have to think too much. You don't have to think, oh, I'm going to do green things here or red things there. It all looks so great that you just start doing it.
So you just get inspired by what you see.
Well, I do. I hope everybody else does too. Okay. I'm going to just step through the preparation of the Swiss chard tacos. This is something that a lot of people, when they see the recipe for it, they think it's some sort of a health food sort of approach to cooking Mexican food, when really I learned this from a market vendor in Toluca, the state that in the state of Mexico, just north of Mexico City. And there they do all kinds of greens as taco fillings. So I say, why don't we just take that same idea? And of course, Swiss chard is readily available to everyone in grocery stores. And you're going to let them cook until they're completely soft. Well, I'm actually browning them on the outside without letting them cook to soft because I want the crunch of it. It's a nice textural counterpoint to the softness of the Swiss chard. So as that's getting, it's very close to where I want it to be right now, but I'm going to add a little bit of garlic and just soften the garlic. We can throw some chili flakes in here if we want to do it that way. This is, okay, these are little arbol chilies, and you probably, most of us have those little chili flakes in our cupboard. It's not my favorite thing because I will say right away that the flavor of the chili really dissipates once you cut it up. So what I always suggest to people is buy the whole chilies like this. You get the Thai chilies, these are arbol chilies, any of the small ones. And when you're ready to use your chili flakes, just take a knife to them and chop them up, and they'll look like this, and they'll have such a vibrant flavor. So we've added a little bit of that. Most of the time, when I'm thinking about making a dish like this, I'm not going to go to wild mushrooms. I'm going to go to cultivated mushrooms because they're so much more readily available. And my go-to always is the shiitake. And I do it for two reasons. One is texture, because it adds a real meaty texture. And then the other reason that I do it is for flavor, because it has the boldest of the flavors that you find in the wild mushroom, in the cultivated mushroom. So that's there. Okay, now, since everything is pretty much ready, here I'm gonna add my garlic into the pan. So I've got that brown flavor now, and of course with the browning comes tremendous amount of flavor in this. It's not only sweetness that you're going to get out of that, but it's also what we call savoriness. That will really, it'll make this whole dish taste so much more savory. Now, the biggest trick about cooking greens that I think I can share with you is that the flavors of greens tend to have, well, they're heavy in chlorophyll. That's what makes them green. So it's going to be a very light flavor, and it hints toward bitterness. So you always want to add sweet elements to the dish when you're cooking greens. So my sweet element in this one is really going to be those caramelized onions. They're going to give me what I'm doing. Without adding sugar to it, I'm adding sweetness that's naturally there in the onions, of course. Okay, so I've got my Swiss chard to slice across here, and we're going to add that to the pan, and a little bit of chicken broth that we are going to use as a medium here for wilting that Swiss chard. Now, if you want to make this dish entirely vegetarian, you can do that with a vegetable stock. It won't have that meaty quality about it, but it'll be super delicious. And we do that kind of thing all the time, pretty good. And then a little of that on one of those hand-pressed tortillas. I've got over here queso fresco. This is something else that we make in our restaurant. That's an acid-set cheese, so it's very simple to make. We just take whole milk, and then we add to that a little bit of lime juice, which makes it coagulate. And I'm just going to move these mushrooms over so that with this beautiful plate there you can see.